Greetings everyone, Switched Up here. I decided to do a review about Sunset Backstage Pass. This is going to be one of those Equestria Girls specials, and also in this one particular we can see different people. The Dazzlings. The Dazzlings are back. But why are they back now? We haven't seen any of them back since Rainbow Rocks. And what have they been doing since the past movies actually? What have they been up to? And it turns out this has been showing to at least performing at this concert at Social Music Festival. And how would they be able to even perform at this festival? As we know, they had their pendants to at least to be appearing as good singers, but after the pendants was destroyed at the end of the movie, they could not sing as any decent well anymore. So how come they could be able to sing normally in this special, and especially at this festival? And also seeing how the main seven has been traveling to this festival, it was to see how happy especially Pinkie Pie and Sunset Shimmer. Both of them have been waiting to see this particular concert, but it also most particular to see this duo of the singers. According to Sunset, that these singers had a last tour earlier, but they had been cancelled for definitely until they came back. I can understand from point of view as Sunset and Pinkie that they want to see this concert, and especially their special singers in all times. I understand from their very dedicated fans to see these particular singers, unlike many others are. But their friends, it seems like they're not much as for the singers itself, but just to have a good time at the festival, which is actually kind of nice. But the question here is for myself to ask, why is the concert, this festival named Starworld Music Festival? Of all we know, that Starworld in the human world was the astronomer, but how is his name even connected to a music festival when he studied the stars? Doesn't it make sense? I can't see any connection between that. Can he have been astronomer, or perhaps a singer himself in some, I don't know, maybe decades ago? But to be honest, this was actually quite differently what I usually expect from. Mostly because when I first heard about this particular special, I thought, okay, this is going to be something interesting. But when I seen a few parts short from this movie, seeing the performance about Dazzlings, I was puzzled. Why would they suddenly be back after we haven't seen them since Rainbow Rocks? But in this particular part, everything seems to be very differently. They seems not to be actually the same, because during the performance, in the Rainbow Rocks when they performed, we can see how much they're draining the other people's emotions to become themselves powerful. But in this part, that doesn't even happen because of lack of their pendants, of course. But still, how were they even able to perform as so good as before? We all know that they were dependent on their pendants. But in this now, they don't even have any on. And there seems to be even Audacio, she doesn't even like to be in the human world. She wanted to go back to the Questia, because without any help from the main seven, which unlikely they would ever help the Dancelings to even go back. So they were even surprised that there even to be equestrian magic around the world. So if they had known about this, it is very likely they could have known about any certain artifacts, or at least any magical objects that has been transported from Equestria to the human world. If they had found it, or any of them, or even had some way to absorb some of the magic to themselves independence, that would be a very much disaster even in this festival. But otherwise, I cannot see much about it itself. I mean, seeing Dazzling's back after seeing Rainbow Rocks, I thought maybe, okay, it's gonna be some sort of conflict between the main seven and the Dazzlings once over again, but it turns out it doesn't even make sense. I mean, from what I saw, that the only Pinky and Sunset was aware later on that the Dazzlings was there. But they were the only one who seems to be aware that the Dazzlings never seems to be any paying attention to release to them. The only about that Sonata, she was like her old self back in Rainbow Rocks, that she loved tacos, which is odd. Why would suddenly a siren love tacos? Good question. But if in the point of view from Audacio, she seems to be taking this living in human world not as she expect to, but at least she and the others are trying to survive as best as they can without independence. For my last theory video about what happened to them, I thought maybe that they had been living on the streets because they have no magic anymore, so they cannot drain other people's emotions. But it turns out they weren't living on the streets, and I knew exactly what going to happen to them afterwards. But from what I can see, they managed to survive by performing on any particular events or anything, to being able to survive, but to be able to afford food and even able to afford a transportation. So I thought maybe there must be something with them. So there have been some had been training themselves to be decent good in singing. I don't know. But otherwise, from this particular special, seeing how much all of their efforts, I mean, especially seeing Sunset and Pinky, how much they enjoy this festival, so they can be there with their friends and to see in particular their favorite singers once alive. Even if they won't be on the concert until something really odd happens. Because the first morning when they wakes up, everything seems to be normal. But the next day, the same thing happened. And it then from a point of view saying a deja vu. But Sunset, she was thinking, this is odd. Why would suddenly she relive the same day as before? First, mostly she thought, can this be something wrong? Must be the day before must have been a dream. But then something happened again and again, over and over. Then she suddenly did figure out something must be going on. Even when we're seeing that Sunset wishes that she could do something, or at least that, especially when Pinky said that if they could do it once over, and the next day Sunset wakes up to see all that has happened a second time. And especially the day before, when Pinky, she was so excited to be this on the festival that even at sunset, she had planned things that they could do, but Pinky, she wanted to do other things. And at the end, before even the concert even started, she had pushed over this cart by accident after that Sunset had tied some knot her wrist, and they were thrown out from this concert together. I can stand in a point of view from Sunset. She has been looking forward to this concert, and then to later to be thrown out after a small accident. Even that she wouldn't, she tried to maybe try to even convince the security guard to let them inside or let them stay. But I can honestly say that I understand that she was very angry at Pinkie Pie after what she did, but she realized that Pinkie Pie is just a very random, hyperactive person, and that's nothing she can. That is nothing that she wants to can really stand for. Even if that Sunset had planned things for her and Pinkie Pie to do during the time before the concert even started, but this takes over the case for Conceit that Pinky. She wanted to do some other things and even didn't listen to Sunset and also any other location at any other times when she tried. So in that view, I can stand why Sunset was angry, but especially seeing how much their friends at first had no idea about what happened. Because seemed to be only Pinkie Pie and Sunset to be affected by this strange random artifact. And then so they asked Twilight and Equestria for help. And it turns out another ancient equestrian magic, or at least an object, has been transported from Equestria and up in the human world. In order to stop this from happening the same day, occurring over and over, they had to find it. Not destroy it, but had to find it and somehow stop it. But while doing so, they encounter the Dazzlings. And Sunset, she is really stunned to see them, but she is almost convinced that the Dazzlings has something to do with this, why the other day repeats itself over and over. But it didn't seem that they have no idea what's going on. Even they were tired to repeat the same day over and over, but were actually clueless that there were equestrian magic in the other world. Even they were surprised to seeing all this. But to the end, it turns out that the singers are Pinky and Sunset's favorites. One of them they actually found this object even before the concert even started, and they have been repeating this same concert over and over after they have some small accidents during the concert's performance. So they thought maybe they could use this to make the performance better, but after some time they realized they could not be going on. This was tearing at their friendship. But after Sunset convinced them to stop using it, and they realized they forgive each other and continue this concert without any problems. And so that means Dazzlings had nothing to do with this occurrence at all. Even if Sunset was convinced that they had something to do with it, but it turns out it was wrong. And that is my review about Sunset's Backstage Pass. If you have your own opinions about this particular special, let me know in the comment section below. And as always, subscribe, leave a comment, and as always, this is Swish Diablo, over and out.